Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Aries for February 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blog, and if you would love to learn astrology, learn to read charts for your own personal or professional use, I would love to help you. My astrology apprenticeship program is enrolling now, so you can check that out there at anniehelpsyou.com. Also, if you'd like to have more information than I give you in these videos about what's up for you for each month, I am now doing written horoscopes for each sign, which is new for me, on my new website, cozybysweetstarlight.com. And there's also wonderful other blog headers there that I think you'll like. So check that out. So what's going on in the month of February? We are right in the middle of these eclipse changes, eclipse drama, eclipse endings, eclipse openings. So we're going to get all down and dirty with these eclipses. If you haven't already watched my January report, I highly recommend that you do that because I talk about the lunar eclipse potentials there. The lunar eclipse is on January 31st, and it will definitely affect us all in January, even in December and in February. So you'll want to know what's going on with that because its influence extends out into February, all of February and beyond. But this month for February, I'm going to focus on the solar eclipse, which is at 27 degrees of Aquarius and is on February 15th. So we are about midway through a story or sets of stories being told by this Leo Aquarius eclipse cycle that started at the beginning of 2017 and runs well into 2019. So changes, opportunities, shifts, movement along this continuum of the Leo Aquarius polarity and the sector of life for each sign can happen at any time in these couple of years. But the closer we get to the actual eclipse, so like 4 to 6, even sometimes 8 weeks before and after, these are hot spots where it's more active with very big manifestations moving along these continuums. And that's where we're at here. So in December, you might have seen, in the middle of December, I saw a manifestation from this solar eclipse in the middle of February. That's like 8 weeks beforehand. I love this new moon for everybody and this solar eclipse for everybody because it has some beautiful aspects that go along with it, which we'll talk about when we talk about the general transits. But I especially love it for Aries because the energy of Aquarius makes 60-degree angles with the energy of Aries. So the 60-degree angle is a favorable, generous, supportive, potential rich relationship. So it's in a great aspect for Aries placements, especially if your birthday is between April 13th and on to the end of the sign. So the closer your birthday is to April 18th or so, then the more exact you'll have this 60-degree angle with the new moon solar eclipse. So also if you're watching for your rising sign, those of you that have like 22 through 29 degrees, you'll be most positively affected by this solar eclipse from the perspective of it making this angle to your placements. So I think it's great for all Aries, but especially within that spectrum, it has an additional degree of closeness and synergy. So we're going to talk about the sectors of life or the energy that's going to be up for newness for Aries. Okay, so the solar eclipse is occurring for most of you in the 11th house, even for those of you very early and very late degree people, where it's not going to exactly occur in the 11th house, it's definitely well within the spectrum of influence where it's likely to manifest in the 11th house. There are going to be, for you very early and for you very late degree placements, some additional potential manifestations of the placement. So we'll just talk about this in order of Aries placement. Early degree placements are those that have the birthdays in the first days of the sign. So, the first 5-ish, even up to 10 degrees of the sign maybe, or if you're watching for your rising sign, like 0 to 9-ish degrees for your rising sign, or the first 10-ish days of the birthdays, you may have some effect in the 12th house. And then you late degree placements, like you ones that have the last 10 or so degrees of the sign, the last 10 degrees, 20 to 29 or so, you may have some manifestations in the 10th house, okay? But all of you, even ones who are officially in one of those other places, are within this 11th house spectrum. Okay, so let's just very quickly hit the potentials for you early ones in this 12th house. Then we'll spend the predominant amount of time on the 11th house, and then we'll hit the 10th house. So new opportunities. Solar eclipses bring in new opportunities. They fill the space that the lunar eclipses made. So the lunar eclipses bring closings, endings, completions, sometimes with drama, sometimes with stress, sometimes with great excitement. But either way, room is being made. That spiritual law, energy is not created nor destroyed, it simply changes form, is very active and obvious at the eclipse times. If you're looking especially, something is moving out, room is made on the shelf in your life, and the solar eclipse comes in and places new stuff there. Okay, so that's what we're working with. Every time we have a new moon, we have new opportunities and new things come in. But when we have a new moon with a solar eclipse, it's like a new moon in triplicate. So either 3 different things can come in. That's part of where we get this saying, things come in threes. That's also astrological. Many things in life are astrologically based, or sayings or understandings are astrologically based, but people don't know that it comes from astrology. But in any case, this is one of the reasons why things coming in threes is related to astrology. So these eclipses can sometimes bring in 3 different manifestations of the fields of experience that we're discussing. Also, it could just be one big whopper of a thing, you know, just something times 3. So that's what we're working with. So your very early degree placements, you might have something new come along in your 12th house, which has to do with your dreams at night, so more active dreams. It could be more active use of your dreams, like using your dreams for problem solving, lucid dreaming, using your subconscious mind before you go to sleep, posing a problem to it, then having it worked out in dream time or upon awakening, things like that. It could have to do with your deep psychology, past life, Akashic records, you know, hypnosis, anything like that. Major spiritual enlightenment or transformation. It could also be the discovery of a secret, something that is new information that comes in that was hidden, or it could be the finding of a relic. You know, it could be a finding of a genetic relic, some potential within yourself, or it could be something in an attic, a value, or that changes things. You know, so hidden things coming to light, this 12th house energy, use of the dream time. Also, the people having passed on, the connection between people who are no longer in this realm, that is 12th house. So you might see something interesting along those fronts. The very late degree placements, you might see something new regarding work. So work, new job, new recognition, something you've been working on coming to fruition and you getting acknowledged for it. Something having to do with a new position at work, or a new section of your business, or a new business. February is an amazing month to say yes to new jobs, to start new businesses, to start a different division of a new business. We're not going to have this new launchy supporting energy for most of the year. We're going to be starting from March 8th through like the middle of December of 2018. We're very much in an inward and backward tides coming in, going back over old things, revising things you've launched, type of focus. But in February and early March, you still have this energy to push out. So it's a really great time to say yes to things. You might find earlier in the month when we have some squares to Jupiter that there are some hindrances to trying to push forward, but I'll address that in the general transits and some suggestions there. So something new for the late degree placements involving father figures, new boss, new work, new career, new life purpose, new awareness of what you're here for. Those are possibilities. Now, at the same time, all Aries placements have likelihood of 11th house manifestations. This is where the bulk of the Aries manifestations will be. So I'm calling the theme of this month for Aries, big dreams and big magic, because the 11th house has to do with your big dreams, not the 12th house ones like that you have at night, but your big dreams in life. So the things that you would dare to wish for, dare to say that you would want, you know, those big ones that maybe you might not even feel comfortable because they sound crazy when you say them out loud. Those things, there's a massive amount of energy helping you move along with those dreams. So I say, go big. You know, of course I have Aries rising and I'm a Sag, and that's just how I'm wired. So you understand this energy where if you shoot for a very high mark and you miss it, you'll still wind up getting to further than if you would not have advanced your mark, you know? So this is a very good time to be brave and to really figure out and ask for and go for the things that you really want. And the solar eclipse could bring in opportunities to do that. So there are also a lot of other areas where you could see new chapters, new beginnings, new opportunities, new potentials around, and they include teams and groups, large organizations. So working on a team, being part of something greater than yourself, or leading a team. Aries are great leaders, so you might find that you're leading a team. But if you're on a team, that's fine too. There might be a place for you there within a group or a large organization, or with changing large organizations. Maybe your big vision is to help stodgy organizations come into the new realms, you know, the new areas of focus. It could have to do with networking. So you could have a friend or an acquaintance bring you an opportunity. You could also have developments in the arenas of social media or social interactions. So anything having to do with groups in that way, social groups. There could be internet-based business or other projects that could come as a new opportunity. If you're wanting to launch a website, February has lots of great energy for that. If you're wanting to launch a new division of a business you already have, or anything that has to do with technology or futuristic thinking, many opportunities can come from this solar eclipse. There's also potentials for opportunities with communities, building communities, either in person or online. There's solar eclipse energy that is readily available for that type of focus. So community projects, community gardens, community anything, in person or online, as I said, but just the energy of trying to create something where it's for a group of people, for the greater good. And it could even be just for the world community, for the greater good of everybody. It's an energy that's for the greater good. So that relates to humanitarian efforts. You might find that potentials for you to get more active with a humanitarian effort could come to you. Patents, like I said, technology is something advancement, so patents could be in there as well. So you could make a new friend or go to a new level with a friendship that you have, or have a friend come back into your life that maybe the eclipse cycle has been shifting around for you, and a new and deeper level of friendship, or make some important acquaintances or join some groups that become important for you for whatever different reasons. So these are the things that are most on my mind for Aries this month. Now I want to talk about the transits this month, the general transits, the dates of the transits, what they are, the energies that they hold, the potentials that they have, how you can most use them. Also, I want to talk about the general themes and patterns that we have this month from the astrological perspective and how you can most use those. My intention for doing these videos is to help give you the information that you need beforehand so that you can consciously go through the transits and make the most of them, so that you can use them for your conscious evolution, and so that you can use them to continue improving your life and making it better in every way. So the theme for the month for February 2018 for all signs is radical new directions. This is compliments of our solar eclipse that is the highlight of this month, which takes place on February 15th, and it's at 27 degrees of Aquarius. We've been talking about these eclipses for a while. First of all, because as long as we are in an eclipse cycle, news can come in that is eclipse related. So that means from beginning of 2017 through well into 2019, movement along these Leo Aquarius fronts, so anything in the Leo and Aquarian realms, and anything along the houses where it's hitting for each sign, can come through at any point in the eclipse cycle. It's just when the actual eclipses are happening, and then the 4 to 6, even 8 weeks before, and in some cases after, they're like hot spots on a timeline of a story that is ongoing. So sometimes I get asked the question, can I have eclipse news come in sooner than 6 weeks before the actual eclipse? The answer is yes. I actually just myself this week had something very clearly, and I'm recording this in the middle of December, very clearly had a solar eclipse in February manifestation starting to come through in the middle of December. So the eclipse times and the times right before and after are hot spots where there's an increase in frequency of eclipse-related news. But if you look more closely, you'll see that this story that's going on is in motion behind the scenes to some degree for the whole time of the eclipse cycle. So, radical new directions for this period of time. We have major trajectory changes as a common outcome of eclipses. So we're remembering that an eclipse as an astronomical event takes place on one day. An eclipse as an astrological event is an ongoing cycle of a story. So we're looking for hot spots or major news or things to come through around eclipse time because the frequency and the probability is increased. So that's why around this period of time, you'll be likely having the effects of the solar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse that happened at the end of January, we're still very much in a hot spot for that. So closings, endings, completions, things coming to fruition in a big way that you've been working on. Those energies can still come into February, even though the highlight of the month astrologically is the new moon. So the new moon solar eclipse brings in new opportunities, new windows, new doors, new possibilities. And sometimes they're in line with things you've been working on, but sometimes they seem to come out of the blue. So look for this news, but usually it won't be too hard to find. But at the same time, sometimes there are things going on the more subtle levels that are only aware to the seeker. You know, if you're looking for it, you could go through an eclipse season and think, well, gosh, nothing happened at all. But if you're really looking, you'll definitely see at least subtle changes in the story that's going on. So there will be major impetus to move forward, and the stars are right in general for new directions because we don't have any personal planets retrograde this month of February. But at the same time, I describe a lot of what else is going on in February as mischievous. You know, there are aspects that can definitely serve as hindrances to moving forward. So while I'm giving you the report about this green light for moving forward, if you're intuitively not feeling like you should say yes to something or that you should do something, then you have to honor that. And there might be reality checks or things to make you look or dig deeper throughout this month. And we'll go into more details about each of those aspects and what days they are and what they can bring. But just to kind of understand this month better. Green light's on for moving forward, but lots of hindrances that could bring hesitation or doubt. There could be something very clearly that you're supposed to say yes to, but that yes can also still have uncertainty where it's awkward and it's new and you're not sure or you're scared, but still you have a clear yes. One of the most important things to figure out this month, really, really imperative, to tell the difference between self-sabotaging reluctance and, which comes from fear, which would require some use of will to push through, and an actual just intuitive push saying, no, it's not time. So the resistance to change is going to be very strong at this time, just as the possibility for change is standing there. So you really, really have to tune in and figure out, are you not moving forward because intuitively you're supposed to hold off because maybe the retrogrades for the rest of the year are going to change what you would have done or would have launched? Or is it something you have to push through? You know, and only you can know the answer to that. So besides the eclipse, we've got tons of energy in Aquarius. Besides the new moon and solar eclipse, we've got lots of planets moving through that sign. So the Aquarian realms will be lit up in major ways. So anything that involves teaching, leading, or participating in groups, anything that has to do with friendships or social media or social circles, involvement with humanitarian efforts, connections with or working for large organizations. It also has to do with anything that has to do with the internet or internet-based projects or technology or futuristic thinking, patents and things like that. You could see a lot of activity in your friend realm, you know, friends coming in, friends leaving, drama with friends, opportunities with friends, networking possibilities. Whenever the planets are in Aquarius, it's usually a pretty good time to be networking in some way. So just feel into how that could be appropriate for you. So towards the end of the month, we've got the planet starting to move into Pisces, and that brings a totally different feel. This is the Pisces rules the domain of the intuitive, of the introspective, of the artistic, of the abstract, of the romantic, of the poetic. So we move at some point in the month, about 3/4 of the way through, it starts to get more leaning towards the Pisces energy, but we move from this mental air sign of Aquarius and air energy of thinking to feeling. So I'm going to talk about the individual transits, the dates that they're going to happen, and things that I think are important for you to know to best utilize them. If you'd like a written report of what I'm explaining here in this general transit, then you can sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. When you sign up at anniehelpsyou.com, you get my monthly newsletter a month early so that you can see the dates and the energies at play written and not just in the video version. So on February 3rd, we have Mercury in Aquarius making a 60-degree angle to Mars in Sagittarius. This is a very favorable angle. So the good vibes are easy flowing now as these two very easygoing signs are getting together in a great aspect. So this is a great time for dreaming big and expressing ideas in a big way. At the same time, and you can see what I mean about this mischievousness, in January, if you're watching this early, then you can understand what I'm talking about from being in the energy of January. But January has a lot of green lights to move forward with less of the mischievous hindrances. February has lots of green lights and energy for going forward, but at the same time, it has these hindrances that I talked about. And here's a good example of this. So on February 3rd through the 4th, we have Venus in Aquarius making a square to Jupiter in Scorpio. We have 3 squares with personal planets to Jupiter this month, and that is part of what's making this theme where Jupiter's trying to expand something, but the square formation is causing a block or causing something to push through or causing questions or causing stopping. So freedom and commitment may come into conflict at this time. The aspect can also bring challenges to love, money, or expression. And it is important to note, though, that even though it will show up, these blocks will show up, they're also with Jupiter, and Jupiter is known as the Great Benefic. So any difficult angle to this planet tends to be softer than the difficult angles to other planets. So we have that going for us this month. On February 6th, we have another beautiful aspect, Venus in Aquarius making a 60-degree angle to Uranus in Aries. So we can have boosts to social life, love life, finances, artistic expression. This is a great aspect for making money decisions or launching something new in business or love. So whenever we've got, kind of these thumbs up, thumbs down energies that are rolling around each other as they tend to be, you sort of just have to feel your way through it, because I give you the date of February 6th that this aspect is happening, but you could feel this aspect and a green light days before or even after, because the expression of the aspect doesn't just happen on that day for most of these aspects. So, you just kind of have to know what's going on and then feel your way around and look for your own intuitive push for your striking points. On February 10th, we have a second square with Jupiter. The Sun in Aquarius is squaring Jupiter in Scorpio. So this comes with a tendency to overdo. So here I am telling you, try to get everything you can done this month, right? Because the wall of retrogrades starting March 8th is going to descend upon us very quickly. So yes, it's true. We do want to do a lot this month. And yes, it's true that a transit like this could cause us to overdo and become tired or become frazzled. So it can also cause us to overpromise. So definitely look out around this time for the opportunity to be conservative with your commitments, because you may be trying big, but if you scale down what you promise compared to what you're intending, then you won't have the stress of trying to pull through something that might not ever get up to the level that you promised. Something else important that I want to note that's happening in March but is relevant for now, is that on that same day that our personal planet retrograde absence stops, so basically we are free from personal planets being retrograde and their shadow periods until March 8th. Then we start to descend into Mercury retrograde, then we'll go into Mars retrograde, then we'll go into Mercury retrograde, then we'll go into Venus retrograde. But on March 8th, Jupiter also goes retrograde. And Jupiter is our green light planet. It's our go, 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 expansion, optimism planet. So even though this is extra relevant for Sagittarius, it's relevant for everybody trying to do anything. So this is another reason if you feel if the intuition feels on board for pushing forward this month, to really just push through and do extra work this month, because you want to get your projects out before Jupiter goes retrograde. And it will be retrograde for several, like 3 to 4 months. So February 13th, there is our third square to Jupiter, and this is in the form of Mercury and Aquarius making a square to Jupiter. So these energies combined can bring difficulty in concentration, which is even more challenging because this is a time when Mercury is squaring Jupiter. It's a time when the universe is asking you to pay more attention to the details that are involved in your big vision projects. So just at the time that you have to pay more attention to the details, you have a challenge in concentrating on the details. So it would be a good time to enlist some help with people who are really good at that, or just some extra eyes to support you. This can also come with a tendency to overestimate your capacity to follow through with something you're promising. So you can see this trend whenever anything is squaring Jupiter, there is a tendency to overpromise. On the same day, February 13th, and you notice that all of this is going on around the Valentine's Day time, we have a mitigating, awesome transit with the Sun in Aquarius making a very favorable angle to Uranus. So there is a little bit of dicey energy around Valentine's Day, but there is also some very supportive energy around Valentine's Day. So this Sun aspect with Uranus can bring progressive solutions. It can also bring internet-based projects and community-minding plans to move forward. Group or team focus expands in a wonderful way. If you're looking for a time to try to, pop the question, I still think that there's a lot of good energy around this time, and this aspect can be very supportive because Uranus is future thinking, and of course when you're getting married or trying to move forward on any project, we're thinking about the future. So there is lots of good energy around moving forward. Just kind of feel your way through it, and if you're planning to pop the question and it doesn't feel right, then give it a day or something. You might feel the energies even after a couple of hours shift. So just feel your way through this. On February 15th, we also have the new moon in Aquarius, and this is an amazing energy for new things. It's also the solar eclipse. In general, I try to space things away from the exact day of the solar eclipse, which is on the 15th, because that carries a specific intensity with it. But you'll see radical new directions opening up from this eclipse, and this magical aspect also has additional support from the planets because Mercury is making a 60-degree angle to Uranus, and it can enhance communication and expression and also find futuristic resolutions, as we just discussed. It also can bring positive outcomes from, so basically a solution for an old problem, something that's been going on for a while. You can figure out a solution for that, or the odds are more likely. Also, Venus in Pisces is making a nice angle to Saturn in Sag, and this can help bring abstract ideas into form in wonderful ways. So there's a massive amount of energy around this new moon that is really supportive for moving forward. On February 17th, we also have the Sun in Aquarius making a conjunction to Mercury in Aquarius. So your mental powers will expand at this time. The capacity to intellectualize, to brainstorm, and again, community-based projects, internet projects, anything Aquarian related can get a boost, social media, etc. On February 21st, you can see these energies are very quickly moving into this feeling energy. Venus in Pisces is making a conjunction to Neptune in Pisces. So boundaries can tend to blur during this transit, for better and worse. Romance can flourish at this time. Emotional spending is more likely, but it can be worthwhile if you're clear enough, if you feel clear enough to make good decisions. You could get some things that really add to the beauty and emotional substance of your life. And by the way, this whole month is really great in general for making important purchases. If you feel your way through and it feels like it's the right move for you. Phones, cars, making decisions, starting programs, launching anything. This is one of the best months of the year for pushing things forward in a big way. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. Something else that is great at this transit on the 21st with Venus and Neptune is it's wonderful for artists and art-related projects. So on the 25th, we have Venus in Pisces squaring Mars in Sag. So this can be a little bit of a bummer. Emotional longing may be met with emotionless and detached reflections, okay, which doesn't usually feel good. But this is a really good time to remember that the only constant that we can trust is our connection with spirit, and not the fickleness of the material realms. So when we have a transit like this that can be a little bit disappointing or a little bit confusing, it serves to fuel our spiritual work in the way that whenever we put our dependence of happiness in something outside of ourselves in an ever-changing world, we're on a planet that's moving, that's spinning, but it's also moving, and then it's also moving within that moving, and then it's in a solar system that's moving, in a universe that's moving, everything is moving. So the only thing that's constant is our connection to spirit, that all that is. And this is an amazing transit to reiterate that into our being and to be able to find happiness beyond what our circumstances are. At this same time, we have Mercury in Pisces making a conjunction with Neptune. So this combination can be amazing for romance and emotional connections. Alternatively, and especially because of the square that is also happening this day, it can cause confusion or deception. So just again, tune in and trust your gut feelings in deeper ways. On the same day, the 25th, this is a very powerful time in the cosmos, lots going on. We've got the Sun in Pisces making a beautiful aspect to Saturn in Capricorn, which is a great time for abstract ideas taking shape beautifully and rough edges being softened with great outcomes. Whenever we have energies of water and energies of earth coming together in a beautiful aspect, it gives us the opportunity to blend art and function. On the 27th, we have an awesome aspect with Venus in Pisces making a 60-degree angle to Pluto in Capricorn. I want to take a second now to note, you've noticed I've said 60-degree angle quite a few times in this report. That means that there is a strong story of this 60-degree angle. And 60-degree angles are positive, supportive aspects, but they usually involve you having to take action on something. They're a little bit different than a trine. Trines tend to just bring things in, and yes, you can take action on those beautiful aspects also, but this 60-degree angle really wants you to do something. And the way I always describe this is like, let's say you want a peach pie, right? And you have all the ingredients for the pie on your counter, and then you're like, why don't I have a peach pie? Everything is there, right? Well, you have to use the ingredients to make the pie. So you might have to do something active with these 60-degree angles to be able to get the better aspect, but they're full of opportunities. So on the 27th, we've got this Venus in Pisces, 60-degree angle to Pluto in Capricorn. So again, you see this theme of artistic flow, receiving great support, tangible support, material support. Look for ways to bring intuition and practicality together. So you've heard me say something like that a few times, and that's because of this blending of water energies and earth energies as a little bit of a pattern this month. On the 28th, we have Mercury in Pisces making a square to Mars in Sag. So be on guard for misunderstandings at this time. Unclear communications can bring challenges and conflicts, and it may be hard to express feelings at this time, or it could just be that deadlines could create creativity blocks. Mars in Sag wants to go, go, go and be everywhere at the same time and do everything at the same time, but Mercury in Pisces is more of a slower, emotional, quiet, soft moving energy, so whenever those two conflicting energies come in, you can see there might be some conflicts there. Also on February 28th, we have a beautiful aspect with Mercury in Pisces making a 60-degree angle with Pluto in Capricorn. So compassionate communication can result in great strides at this time. So adding art to function is a great way to use this energy also. I love the book, Marshall Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, for everything, for always. But when we have aspects or combinations like this, where there's so much softness and feeling coming into connection with a different type of energy, the more we can tune in and really put ourselves in the place of someone that we're communicating with and look at it from their perspective, there's a tremendous amount of healing that can occur with that. So these are the things that are most on my mind this month for the general transits. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see what's new on my blogs. Also, sign up for my free email newsletter to get your monthly write-up and more. Definitely go to cozybysweetstarlight.com to get your written monthly horoscope for each sign. That's something new that I've never done before, but I am doing it on my new site, Cozy by Sweet Starlight, along with great reads for each sign and lots of blog headers for your comfy, cozy life, astrology kissed life. Then check out my husband, B.R. Newman's tarot scopes to get more information about what could be in store for you at iamhelios.com, iamhelios.com. So I hope you have a wonderful month. Check out my astrology apprenticeship program if you would love to learn astrology with me, and I'll see you next month.